This Melchizedek priesthood choir, comprised of men from many walks of life, all singing together out of their hearts filled with testimony, the hymns of Zion. Brethren, thank you very, very much. Now, I seek the inspiration of the Lord as I speak briefly on what I consider to be a very important subject. I begin by taking you back 150 years and more. In 1849, our forebears faced a serious problem. Our people had then been in the Salt Lake Valley for 2 years. Missionaries in the British Isles and Europe continued to gather converts. They came into the church by the hundreds. When they were baptized, they desired to gather to Zion. Their strength and their skills were needed here, and their wish to come was very strong. But many of them were distressingly poor, and they had no money with which to buy passage. How were they to get here? Under the inspiration of the Lord, a plan was devised. What was known as the Perpetual Emigration Fund was established. Under this plan, funded by the church, notwithstanding its serious poverty at that time, money was loaned to those members who had little or nothing. Loans were made with the understanding that when the converts arrived here, they would find employment, and as they were able to do so, they would pay off the loan. The money repaid would then be loaned to others to make it possible for them to emigrate. It was a revolving resource. It was truly a perpetual emigration fund. With the help of this fund, it is estimated that some 30,000 converts to the church were enabled to gather to Zion. They became a great strength to the work here. Some of them came with needed skills, such as stonemasonry, and others developed skills. They were able to perform a tremendous service in constructing buildings, including the Salt Lake Temple and Tabernacle, and doing other work which required expertise. They came here by wagons and by handcarts. Notwithstanding the terrible handcart tragedy of 1856, when approximately 200 of them died from cold and sickness on the plains of Wyoming, they traveled safely and became an important part of the family of the church in these mountain valleys.
You know, if you go out and you want to buy groceries, you need a picture on a card. You need ID.
Later this week, a website for the Trump Gold Card will be up and running.
I have faith that the Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
America first.
Travis Winged, alrighty. I warn, nobody listens, everybody thinks they know better, everybody thinks it won't happen, and then it happens, and everybody doesn't like the consequences, everybody wants the consequences to be different, and it's too late. Yesterday, Scotus sealed the final nail in the coffin of the 14th Amendment, Section 1. It is now destroyed. And it's far worse than the deep state Dems realize. You've already seen the picture memes, the video clips at the beginning of this video, so you know what's coming. You know that I warned you. You know that I was trying to save your lives. All you had to do was listen and follow. You knew that the church isn't true. You knew that the church is the enemy of mankind, and you wouldn't listen. You didn't believe. So after discussing this, after discussing what's next, that the deep state Dems are unaware of because they're not learning from history that is repeating itself, that I warned you is coming. And so let's get into it. The Book of Mormon is not literal history. Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon says so. The Book of Mormon is the spirit of prophecy, predictions of the future, and revelations, the dates. And so 3 Nephi chapter 7 is not literal history, but is a prediction of the future. The people were divided one against another, and they did separate one another into tribes. And thus they did destroy the federal government of the land. The regulations of the government were destroyed because of the secret combination of friends and kindreds of those who murdered Joseph Smith and Hiram. Again, prediction of the future. Doctrine and Covenants, section 103, concerning the redemption of Zion. Therefore, I will raise up unto my people a man who shall lead them like as Moses led the children of Israel. Yeah, the Jews also did not write literal histories. They wrote prophecies with the days and the hours of those predictions of the future. Moses is not literal history. the Exodus is not literal history. They are that Mormon in the future. Because they do not properly footnote, because they don't want you to know. Joseph Smith, in his 1838 vision, second vision, verse 40, after telling us that Christians are going to cause Armageddon. He said that that man like Moses is your Christ. But the day had not yet come when Mormons who will not hear him will be utterly destroyed from off the face of the earth. Section 103 was 1834. The 1838 visionary account was in 1838. This was 4 years earlier. 1838, he then said that this, which was not in his Doctrine and Covenants of 1835, Brigham Young put it in 1844. But if it were properly footnoted, as it should have been, you would have therefore known that your Christ would be a Mormon, and that you would stop waiting for Jesus to show and do all the work for you. I've done over 8.7K videos to save your life. I've explained how my life was preparation for this day. I have told you repeatedly about the 4th November 2016, when Fox 13 News Utah announced that there was going to be a total solar eclipse over the United States of America, and how my life was prepared to know and understand what that meant. The fall of the United States of America. That is my #1 video still to this day. And a new person who is watching my channel, who's been around since 2022, apparently did not know that my channel has playlists. That nobody is checking to see what my most popular videos are, let alone the most popular video. To see that in the beginning I gave you the word, and now it's borne fruit, for which you can now judge who I am. And yet those 40,000 people are gone. either because they didn't listen to me and are dead, or because they didn't believe the word and left. And so now we've got a whole bunch of newbies who know nothing of the subject matter, who have never studied church history, who have never studied Mormonism, who are not the experts, who think they got it all figured out, and stumble across one video of mine and go, what the hell? It is too late to try to cram. This isn't the night before a test. You're now in class and the teacher is handing out the test. It's too late to cram. After this, in 2018, I learned about the Danites, who were framing and blaming Joseph. And then during that time, a Mormon thought he would confound me and prove me wrong by linking me. Well, actually, he didn't really link me. It was through trying to find out what the hell he was talking about. Nobody puts links. Saying that there was a document of Joseph Smith paying $2,000, which is the book publishing price, for a home in Susquehanna County, Pennsylvania, after the Martin Harris incident. After the 116 pages have been stolen, for which they use Martin Harris because he was going to pay the $2,000 for the publication of the Book of Mormon. And yet, somehow Joseph Smith had $2,000 before Martin Harris sold the farm to pay for the Book of Mormon in 2029 or 1829. But I found it in what was called by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints the Joseph Smith Papers. And went, oh, look at this. The authoritative source for all things Joseph Smith. So our scriptures are null and void. But the church leaders would not render our scriptures null and void and replace them with corrected scriptures. And so Mormons are led to believe, well, the church didn't make any changes, then there's nothing to be changed. I just showed you how the footnotes are screwed up on purpose, maliciously. I also saw the history of scriptures by the church. Guess what they took out? The 2009 Guide to the Scriptures for Spanish, for which all other foreign languages are patterned after as well. They skipped right from 1981 to 2013. So you notice 2013, because I did. Oh, those bastards. Those underhanded, sneaky bastards. They began that project after ours ended. Immediately after. They had already been working on it behind the scenes. And you know damn well David Gaunt was a part of that. But I was there. I heard them talking about, hey, we should publish this in English. We can't. Elder Ballard's not dead yet. Well, he's dead now. We don't want to humiliate Elder Ballard that all of his work was wrong and needs to be changed. So in order to let them think that their life had meaning, we're not going to make the change. So the Joseph Smith papers then led me to 19 July 1840. The Constitution will be on the brink of ruin prophecy. Joseph Smith is a false prophet. The Constitution is gone. Yeah, it's because Mormons didn't follow Captain Moroni to save America. Remember, not literal history. God damn. Mormons are so infuriating. All you had to do was read. The living prophets of Jesus demand you obey them literally. And yet, you're a bunch of dumbasses who follow spiritual witness feelings. And the church is going to betray you for that. And you don't care and you don't believe. I'm just so enraged right now because you wouldn't listen to me. So 2020 was the Exodus year into 2021. The man like Moses, he showed Mormons. The fruits were available for you to see the Mormon who had the keys of Moses to lead the church. Or do I need to read that scripture again for you? Of course I do. And again, the duty of the President of the Office of the High Priesthood, Section 107, 91, and 92, is to preside over the whole church and to be like unto Moses. Oh, look, they correctly referenced it to Section 103, verse 16. How do you know, Travis, you didn't look in the footnotes? Never gonna study your scriptures, are you? So to be a seer, revelator, translator, and prophet, having all the gifts of God which he bestows only upon the head of the church. Well, see, Travis, that's why we don't know. That's why we don't read our scriptures, because we will never know. The leaders of this church demand you literally obey them. And yet you can't do this with the scriptures. But 2021 came and went. And I went, what the hell? What happened? Why didn't Armageddon happen? Why didn't the trigger event happen? So, YouTube was then ordered to attack, shut down this channel for a false accusation, obviously. That video is still in the sealed portion of the documents. But we're not having Zion. Mormons don't want it. We're all gonna die. So, what does it matter? What does anything matter anymore? I mean, granted, Mormons didn't have the vision of how Zion is to be built, designed, run. But I got it. It is awesome. Mormons don't care. And so, I was using TWG to post videos. Oh, that's why this channel only has 4.7K. And you're talking about 8.7K. But I don't, well, because I think they also shut down that one. Because I was concerned as to whether or not I should let people know of what the news leaked. The news had found out through the Southern Poverty Law Center of the membership records from 2014 of that very secret combination seeking to overthrow the regulations of the government of the United States of America. Since Reagan took over as president in 1981. And so, I went over the membership list, searching to see if there's anybody I would recognize. And yes, there's Steve Bannon, Kellyanne Conway, the Heritage Foundation, and others, Russians, all that have been involved in their own special way to overthrow the United States of America by destroying the Constitution. And Scotus yesterday sealed the nail in the coffin of the 14th Amendment, Section 1. This was coming, you didn't believe, said they would never cross that line, they certainly wouldn't do that again, after threatening they were going to do it. So this is pre-October 2021 General Conference, and I do the video, still be on probation with YouTube for something I didn't do wrong. And I warned you. There they are. Oh, look. There's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Through Mark Skousen, the firstborn birthright blessing son of W. Cleon Skousen. Mr. Naked Communism. Communist. Everybody wants to be a Nazi. He was in the memorial. That's how I knew that Mark Skousen was his son. And I also checked. It's his firstborn. Royal Skousen, I would go on to learn, who was involved with the Joseph Smith papers to cover it up and hide it from you, but still do it nonetheless for anybody who dares to check and find out the truth, that the church is the great and abominable church, going to murder all of you and blame Jesus for it. He's a cousin of the family. Nonetheless, this is how the church is a puppet master. This is how the church knows what's being done to America in advance because of this Council for National Policy. They are giving the orders to have things done, to put judges in Scotus, to do the attacks around the world, to have bills passed. And this is why the church knows in advance to profit off of it, and are not warning Mormons, are not preparing Mormons. This is a secret combination that Mormons are not allowed to know about. That if Mormons die, or Mormons get hurt, it's because Mormons weren't spiritual witness feeling faith enough for their promotion. Mormons are to blame, not the church. So General Conference came. General Conference went. And it was a complete humiliation. They shut me down and silenced me because of the damage that they had done to me. Then after 21st of August, October General Conference, or the October 2021, I think it was in November anyway, I then found it. The way to perfection. Are you keeping track of everything so far? The way to perfection. Adam, Ondi, Amen, which I already knew that the Danites were in charge of, that the Joseph Smith papers exposed it as a forged document, section 116, finding 19 July 1840, learning about the secret combination that the church was involved with. And now I find The Way to Perfection by Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. All hell broke loose. It's the Danite plot encoded with Jesus. Remember? frame and blame Jesus. We're not doing it, it's Jesus. Jesus is to blame. Just like Joseph Smith is to blame. We didn't do it. Joseph did. He did it from Liberty Jail? Yeah, because he can do that. He's supernatural like Jesus. There's an extermination order for a reason. And so, sure enough, did the videos about how I was being attacked. And now I'm here. And they still attacked through my brother. Bastard. Never go up against your older brother, Todd. You think you're smart because you're valedictorian in high school and at BYU, but you forgot why you're a PhD from the University of Michigan. You think that because you pulled the religion card that therefore you're smart? You didn't believe the University of Michigan that said you're as dumb as a dum-dum? That's encoded, by the way. I use that instead of bleep bleep. Anyway, it was also interesting, December 2021, my mom was dead. Did they murder my mom? Knowing that my mom would say, no, Travis is a good man. It's just, he took it hard with the divorce. Mom, you helped her leave. Did you forget that? So they got her out of the way. And thus my brother attacked in 2023. Because Mom would have told him, leave your brother alone. But Mom, the church is going to fire me. They threatened me to do it. I'm going to be excommunicated. Mom, how do I pull the religion card on the religion? The church is true. What's going on? I don't understand, Mommy. All these years since 2021, I'm going, what the hell happened? Where's Armageddon? Why didn't it happen? It should have happened. Prophecies are fulfilled. All of the events occurred of the Exodus. I'm well aware of who I am. Nobody else believes. Nobody's listening. Nobody cares. And then November 2024, after I did the video from October conference, Nelson says Jesus is coming. Oh no, Jesus didn't show in a week. Because if you say in a coming day, you've got less than a week. If you say in a coming days, okay. But there's a limit on how many weeks you can get. Because then you should have said in the coming weeks, or the coming months, or the coming years, or the coming decades, or the coming centuries, or the coming millennia. There are definitions for words. And so a month later, Mormons found out that Nelson said that in conference. Because Mormons don't go to conference. They don't watch, they don't listen anymore. I've heard the excuses. Don't lie to me. When it became available online, Mormons were now saying, oh yeah, it's online, I'll watch it eventually. No, you won't. You went on vacation for conference weekend and said that you'll watch it later if it's essential to your eternal salvation. No, you won't watch it. And others use as their excuse for not watching, well, that only applies to the wicked Mormons. I already know what they all say. They repeat the same stuff time after time. I know that. I know it all. I'm an expert in Mormonism. I know it all because I have a spiritual witness feeling. It's for those who don't have a spiritual witness feeling yet. That's who the prophets are talking to. I don't need to listen. Oh, dear God. Oh, dear God. So, one such Mormon woman who heard about Nelson's in a coming day had found Sister Jessica, who posted on her mission site back in 2020. Oh my God. Nobody was supposed to know about this. This was a secret combination by Dallin H. Oaks. Well, if you wanted nobody to know, you dumbass, don't tell anybody. Even if you're sure that because they're new mission presidents and going straight out into the mission field for 2 years, that they wouldn't tell anybody. If you don't want anybody to know, like Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. said you weren't supposed to let anybody know, don't tell them. And yet, President Marquis, going off to Australia with his wife, leaked it. Oaks said that 2020 and 2021 was just a test run. And so if it happened, great, but it was a test run. For right now. And still to this day, little sister Jessica has no clue what she had done. She doesn't watch my channel. Nobody's talking to her about it. Over 100,000 Mormons know about her. And yet, I doubt anybody from her singles ward, or if she's married, has 5 kids by now, is talking to her about it, or making the connection. Because if she's married, that would explain it. She has a new name. Not just the new name in the temple that she got when she went on our mission. So what is that new name, Jessica? What is that new name? When did you go out? Because I can find out. Just tell me the date of when you went to the temple. And I'll know exactly what new name you got. Just tell me the date, that's all. You don't have to tell me the new name. You don't have to leak it. Just tell me the date of when you went to the temple. Just this once won't hurt. All the cool people are doing it. No one ever needs to know. It'll be our little secret. Anyway, nonetheless, this year I began doing great classics from General Conference. And it was getting me views, but it was not carrying over to the other videos. That was my intent. You're not listening. You're not believing. And so, yes, I have been doing great classic clips all these years. But you're not getting it. What do I do first? Let's give you the news, I guess, first. And then we'll finish off with what the church is going to betray Trump with. Warned Trump. He didn't listen either. Birthright citizenship is only for those who are born in the United States of America to those who are immigrants. But the 14th Amendment, Section 1, says anybody who is born in the United States of America is to be treated equally under the Constitution. Life, liberty, property, equally. There are the kingmen who want to destroy the Constitution and have us return and make America Great Britain again under King. It's all blatantly obvious to Mormons. Blatantly obvious. Unbelievable. You're all going to be screaming in pain and horror and misery and wishing Jesus would come and save you, and it ain't going to happen. You're all going to die. Warned you not to piss me off. Didn't care. And so with the overthrow of Roe v. Wade, Mommy's rights are gone. Mommy was born, so Mommy has rights. But Scotus overthrew Roe v. Wade. Bye-bye, Mommy's rights. Bye-bye. Sperm lives matter now. And so now, birthright citizenship is gone. And so yes, the memes and the video clips should be very clear now as to what their next step is. Trump isn't just doing the gold card for those who want to become citizens. All Americans will be considered illegal. And Trump will issue the gold card for anybody who are true Americans. I am a real American. For this, Revelation chapter 13. Let him who hath understanding reckon the number of the beast. Ooh, should we do that over This Is Not America? Both would apply. Both would apply. 666. Number of the beast. Because that's what this is all about. Right here. The gold card of the beast and the false prophet. I warn you, you don't believe, you think it's Obama. You think it's Osama bin Laden. At least Christians have stopped doing those kinds of YouTube videos. Dear God. Those who do not worship Trump will be murdered. And so he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, bond and free, to receive the MAGA cap in their forehead. And that nobody might buy or sell, save you have the mark of the beast, the gold card. Or the number of his name. Image of shofar. The image of the beast should both speak, have life. Moving pictures. Six, 666 in Hebrew. Image, shofar horn, trumpet. But no, it has to be Obama. He's mean. His birth certificate is not on the ship of American soil. It's Kenya. Trump said so. It's Kenya. Do you see what he was doing in advance? I told you this is what he does. The press knows this. That's what he did from the beginning. Attacked Obama's birthright as an American citizen. He has been planning this. His first term was just a test run to see what he can get away with. The 2020 election was just a test run. Oaks got leaked. Stephen Miller is a self-professed neo-Nazi. And so one of these documents that I was reading yesterday, because I told you, Stephen Miller is a neo-Nazi. Steve Bannon from the Secret Combination Group was Trump's first choice to help rig the election and get him in, to help merge the gap with Russia. In case you've forgotten, Steve Bannon was a part of Cambridge Analytica at the time. He since abandoned it after the Brexit scandal, because he went to Europe after the 2016 elections. He was no longer needed by Trump. He'd done his purpose according to his role in the group. And with Cambridge Analytica, they had worked with a Mexican company doing advertising on Facebook. Find out which Disney princess you are. Take this simple, quick test to find out. Oh! And then you get asked personality-sensitive snowflake feeling questions. And you only have 4 answers to choose from. If your answer is not on there, tough. Answer. I don't care if you want to be Belle. You're Pocahontas, Travis. I know all about this scam. I got it in grade school. It was called the color test. It was so that the teacher can find out who the troublemaker kids are. But I was figuring out when she was giving the test. Oh, so all I have to do is change an answer and I can become a different color. And so I knew the test was bogus as a kid. Gag me with a spoon. Totally tubular, man. Death Valley days. Born in East LA, man, I was. And so, yes, it was designed to find out how people can be manipulated through Facebook ads, because that information was then handed off to Paul Manafort. Paul Manafort took it to Russia, and then Russia used that information to design campaign ads for Americans. I'd rather be Russian than vote Democrat. Trump is going to steal your vote. Call this hotline number now to secure your vote for Hillary. P.S. We found the 3,000 emails. You better vote now. Comey leaked. And yet Trump, I mean, seriously, oh my hell. Comey handed him the election, and Trump thinks he's the enemy? Seriously? You should be thanking him, Trump. Dear God. It's unbelievable. I do all these videos. Nobody believes. Nobody's following. Oh my God. So now the tricky part is finding it. I think we found it. systemic exclusion of Jews and undesirables. The 1919 Weimar Constitution reiterated the same basic principles for nationality as well, let's read, if I have to go to the other one, maybe then I'll go to the other one. For nationality, as in the 1913 law, while additionally providing citizens with basic entitlements for protection by the government within and without Germany, and shielding them from extradition to foreign countries. You know, deportation. Birthright citizenship. As the country transitioned into a unitary state under Nazi rule in 1933, state citizenship was abolished. I warned you, Stephen Miller, neo-Nazi, on both shoulders of Trump. Stephen Miller knows about this. Stephen Miller just got it done for Trump through Scotus. This is what's coming, people. As a separate concept and became subsumed into German citizenship as a whole. The new regime enacted the 1933 Denaturalization Act, which enabled the selective revocation of nationality from any person considered undesirable. Who's on Trump's undesirable list? I warned you in advance. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's not just for the undocumented, guys. All of you who are LGBTQIAPO+, all of you who are dark-skinned, all of you who are not evangelical, all of you. And because mommy no longer has rights, mommy is now a slave to her husband, barefoot pregnant in the kitchen, because that's where she belongs, as a trad wife. No more education for mommy, no more career for mommy, no more mission for LDS girls. We're not there yet. That's last. I warned you, you do not want Nazi America. I just did the video yesterday for the Trump, or the church news, which included the Trump ice from the day before. Nobody listens. Cute little froggy. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Boy, it sure is getting hot this summer. Nobody listens. I didn't know about Scotus yet. That would be next. That would be next. Nobody listens. Oh, dear God, you guys don't want this. Did was so horrifying. so traumatizing. You don't want this. Please, you don't want this. You never watch Schindler's List because it's rated R. I broke down during the gas chamber scene. You don't want this. What the hell is wrong with you guys? I need to stop the video and compose myself. Alright, let's try this again. There were other things also that you need to pay attention to in the news yesterday that Scotus also did away with, that Trump also did. Trump has now ceased talks with Canada. Pay attention to that. That was going to be the original video title, Trump Bombs 51st State. But then I found out that birthright citizenship is over. I went, oh crap, here we go. But Trump also was granted that he can defy the federal judges. He's pushing the big beautiful bill. This is to fund the military operation, to cancel money for the undesirables. He wants it before July 4th. Congress is going to start voting on it today, as I found out. In that big, beautiful bill, Trump makes it very clear that the states, as I told you in advance, I'm supposed to be composed. You don't want this. We're supposed to do it themselves. Authority is being handed over to the states to regulate themselves. So they're supposed to deport people. They are supposed to cut funding for the undesirables of Trump. States are going to be in charge of it. This is where we come to Utah in the end of this video. Which may actually be pretty quick here. Trump came out with an advertisement on his YouTube channel, stealing from J.G. Wentworth. It's my money and I want it now. We don't get money. I don't get money. I've already lost money before the big beautiful bill even took place. I will lose more money when the big beautiful bill does take place. I will get no money. That is the one and only one thing that is not a pattern match from the test run years. Americans are not getting money, but Trump is trying to tell you to force your congressperson to vote for it, that you're going to get money, and you're not. You're going to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. Scotus also saved Obamacare. Trump is trying to do away with it. The big beautiful bill does away with it. It's a trap. Scotus tried to make you believe that everything is still okay. It's not. We're all doomed. Trump canceled the suicide prevention hotline. He wants you to die now because you're not listening to ChatGPT. Or the AI therapist. Wow, you really are a horrible, awful person. I think you should probably kill yourself. What? AI, brilliant. Warn you, you never listen. And so, Texas has now been approved to resume the blacklist registration for undesirables. For those over 18 watching porn. Pay attention, Mormons. It's also for Utah. I know you secretly watch porn. Don't try to fool me. Your little factories. That's why I do these videos. That's why I do these videos. Okay. So, nobody remembers Hinckley. Nobody cares to watch conference. They already know it. They'll get to it later. Hinckley was still technically prior to the internet. When he came out with the Perpetual Education Fund. I think this was 2021. Oh my God. Oh my God. Where are you? Pornography. Marvelous Foundation. No. No. Is it 2022? I know I transferred it. Oh. I don't think it, no. Is it? Because I don't think I did it afterwards. There it is. April 2001. Okay? April 2001. What happened on 9/11 that year? Who was in charge of that again? Oh, it was Saddam Hussein? Oh, no, it was Pakistan? Oh, no, it was Afghanistan. Oh, Saddam Hussein, or Osama bin Laden. Oh, wait, no, it was Saudi Arabia. Who? Who? Who was in charge of security? Why do all the records delete that information now? Who was in charge? So let's read from the Perpetual Education Fund, since I already put the clip in for you. It will be in. Trust me. It has to be in. This is the big, beautiful video. Wow, he got right into it at the beginning. Okay, let me read it for you. Because this is what's happening, Mormons. I warned you. I've done this video before. Don't listen. I begin by taking you. He's talking to the priesthood. Women are not allowed. They were sneaking in wearing slacks, short hair. Back 150 years or more. Oh my God, you couldn't do the math? Yeah, 152 years. In 1849, our forebears faced a serious problem, did they? If only you just watched my videos. Only. Our people had then been in the Salt Lake Valley for 2 years. Missionaries in the British Isles and Europe continued to gather converts. No. You're not gathering converts. You're planting converts. They're still seeds. They came into the church by the hundreds. When they were baptized, they desired to gather to Zion. Oh, Hinckley, you big fat liar. Pants on fire. So now I get to give you the repeat of information because you're not listening. 1838, Danites struck. They did the same exact pattern that they were planning to do in the latter days. They told Thomas B. Marsh, "We're going to do this. Join us or die." Extermination order. Joseph, framed and blamed. Joseph got out. They had to murder him. Especially when he said that Brigham Young is going to do it. Brigham Young is the enemy. Murder Joseph. And so they did. Yesterday's video. And so Brigham Young with his Danite militants, took over the church. Others went with Sidney Rigdon, James Strang, their own way. And so the majority were already Danites. And those who were loyal to the Danites, because they were the missionaries. They were lying to people. Hi, we're missionaries from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Have you heard about the Book of Mormon, another testament of Jesus Christ? We're a Christian religion. Ignore all the Jewish stuff that it says it is. You're stupid. Join our church and pay today. Because we're stupid too. Thus the ledger, the book of the law, not the ledger, but Brigham Young nonetheless. And so yes, he anointed himself king in January 1846 in the Nauvoo temple, not dedicated yet. Was sealing to polygamous wives in January, not dedicated yet. They wrote it in a book. This is 1846, not 1843. All of a sudden, Joseph Smith is given wives, written in a book in 1846, not 1843. Even my Fulmer ancestry knew this. And yet, Desdemona Fulmer sealed to Joseph Smith. We all knew it was after. You don't believe, but the church said. Really? I am shocked and horrified that my Fulmer ancestry are not rising up and saying, no, Desdemona Fulmer was sealed to Joseph after. Don't lie to Mormons. And yet, they think they're an exclusive group that remains Mormon. We know the truth. Then stand up to the church. Put them in their place. Unbelievable. And so, he has to flee the country. He had burned the bridges in the United States of America. So, Mexico territory, Salt Lake Valley. He builds his kingdom of Deseret. It is not the state of Utah. Stanford assisted me in providing me with the incorporation documents of 1851. It was still not an organized religion. It's just a group that were building their own community, their kingdom. The Vanguard Company, nobody else. Now, they did have a special ship from England that was going to go to California and then meet them in the valley. But those are for the rich who could afford it. Only the rich, who were Danites, came to the valley in the Vanguard Company. Everybody else who was poor stayed behind. The very next year, 1848, Mexico seceded. The United States obtains the property. And so then they went and did the official processing and such, designated the land that Brigham Young was on as Utah Territory. And they had sent him a letter saying, hey, we understand you are there. You can be the first governor of the territory of Utah. He's king. How dare you? So February 1851, he then, as governor of the territory of Utah, officially incorporates the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Because Joseph's church wasn't. Yes, Mormons, it's all a lie. You've been conned because you didn't listen to me. And already you were offended at the beginning of the video. And oh, we hate people who say that they know it all and that they had told us so. Your lives are in danger. You don't want this. God. Those Nazi psychologists, they really did a number on you. Thanking their American liberators. And then polygamy also at the same time for that conference. Adam brought one of his wives into the Garden of Eden, baby. Don't you know that she drives me crazy? Because Lilith was a bad girl. And she divorced Adam. And so Brigham Young sought comfort in one of the concubines at the brothel at Regent Street. Because going to Orrin Porter Rockwell's brothel at the point of the mountain was too far away. She's my prostitute, and I want her now. The big, beautiful prostitute. So, this is what Brigham Young was doing. So, 1848, Mexico secedes. Brigham Young knows. Because in 1849, confirmed by Gordon B. Hinckley, and he really can't lie on this, because the United States has a government document all about this. Brigham Young in 1849 before incorporating the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Perpetual Immigration Fund. He knows Mexico seceded. And so, to protect his kingdom, he has the Perpetual Immigration Fund issued. This is human and child trafficking and sex trafficking, just like China does in America. See, people who want to come to America, who are poor, who are banished without citizenship, because they were a girl and they were abandoned by their parents, so the parents could have another child and hope for a boy this time. She is promised that she can come to America and that she has to work off the debt in America. Now, other traffickers would say that you have to front the bill. Those from Mexico, for example. The women with children say, well, for all of you, it'll be this much to get you across the border. Oh, I don't have that much. Okay, well, we can do one child. Okay. Then once in America, they now have to work to pay for the rest of the family to come. Or the sister. And so they put them to work. China puts them to work in happy ending massage parlors. Utah's getting those busted and shut down lately. What's up with that? Why did it take you guys so long to figure out that that's what they were doing? So human and sex trafficking. This is exactly what Brigham Young was doing. These Mormons, who are already required since 1844 with Section 119, have to pay Brigham Young to be worthy. And now they are being indebted to Brigham Young with the Perpetual Immigration Fund. They have to pay it back once they arrive in the Salt Lake Valley. And once they paid it back, they're still paying tithing, so Brigham Young doesn't lose out on money. However, the current sex and human traffickers keep you indebted for the rest of your life. Because interest keeps going up every year. And so once they paid it back, Brigham Young would then grant them citizenship. Here it all is, boys and girls. I've been doing the videos. I've been exposing all of this for a reason. And you don't care. You're not listening. You don't want this. Still gotta calm down. It's not 8 o'clock yet. It's full-on bright sunny day now. Oh my God. Okay? But it's the state of Deseret that Brigham Young is doing this with. He's in denial of the territory of Utah, even though he knows. Even though he knows. So yes, 1851, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was incorporated with the state of Deseret as the governor of the territory of Utah. Are you starting to get an idea of what's about to happen? What Utah is about to pull on Trump? So where were we, Hinckley? Their strength and their skills were needed here. He was amassing an army to build a wall of populations so that nobody could come in. 9/11, 1857, the Mountain Meadows Massacre. Can you explain this for us, Senator Mike Lee? Mike John D. Lee. Third great-grandfather who framed and blamed Joseph in 1838. See, this is how you recognize a liar, when they pull this extra detailed information that it has nothing to do with facts. It's all emotional based. You can always tell a liar. But many of them were distressingly poor. Yeah, Brigham Young didn't want them poor, so he turned them into slaves. And they had no money with which to buy passage. They were told to stay where you are, build Zion where you are. How were they to get here? It's just sickening. Just Hinckley is disgusting. And so yes, he's the one also responsible for the Thomas B. Marsh debacle. Along with Monson. Under the inspiration of Lucifer, a plan was devised. What was known as the Perpetual Immigration Fund was established. Under this plan, funded by the church, notwithstanding its serious poverty at that time. No, Brigham Young stole money through his secret combination paying him. He left Emma with the debt. He would lose all that money eventually after the United States shut them down under John Taylor. Money was loaned to those members who had little or nothing. Loans were made with the understanding that when the converts arrived there, they would find employment. Crime is not a crime. It's the will of Jesus. Bind yourself to him today. And as they were able to do so, they would pay off the loan. They were slaves. It's called slavery, Hinckley. The money repaid would then be loaned to others, exactly like the human trafficking rings around the world. This is where they got it from. For them to immigrate. It was a revolving, perpetual, eternal law. Slavery, now the law of consecration. Slavery. I warn you, you don't believe, you don't listen, you don't like it when I told you so, that I know everything. It was truly a criminal operation. And so 50,000, he says, 30,000 were able to gather to Zion. They became a great strength to work here. Oh my God. So abominable. So abominable. Okay. So you see what the church is planning. They knew in advance what Trump was going to do. They knew in advance what Scotus was going to do. You didn't believe me. Are you going to believe them? I told you birthright citizenship was next after Roe v. Wade got overturned. And at the same time, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. But that was back in 2021 when that failed. Okay, so the big beautiful bill says that states are responsible for deportation and for defunding of undesirables. I warned you that this is what he's doing. MAGA states can be trusted to do it themselves. Texas is on the forefront, remember? You don't remember. And so Utah is considered a MAGA state because of the gerrymandering for decades. But the majority, if it were to be a popular vote, is deep state Dem. Because the church has purposely, in advance, been bringing in southern border illegals and Islamic refugees to the valley. All so that they can be slaves to work for the church. Missionaries from foreign countries come to Temple Square. They're illegal. Visas. Members from illegal countries, bleep hole countries, come to Utah to go to BYU with the perpetual education fund, I mean. It's not slavery. They pay it back. Along with their tithing. They're not giving you a free handout. Their trillions of dollars hoarded is for Jesus. Jesus! You can't rob Jesus. Oh my God. So to work for the church, to receive food assistance from the church, you not only have to work for it, but you have to have a temple recommend an ID. Okay? So Trump, back in 2017, meets with Irene and Nelson and learns how to use a shopping cart for the first time in his life. Oh, wow, this is fun. Oh, look, food from a can. This is a neat invention. When did this happen? The Mormons invented canned food. And so he's told about the process. And told that the member who comes in hands a paper with their ID on it from their bishop. And it's compared with the bishop's information that was sent in advance, so that nobody tries to sneak in and steal food. You have to be approved. And so, with the ID, they now go through the shopping list. And somebody is with you to make sure that you take only what is on that list. And so Trump comes out and said, when you go to the grocery store, you need an ID. It's not a grocery store, Trump. It's not a grocery store. It's for the poor, but it's not from tithing funds. Tithing funds are a different storehouse. It's for Jesus. It's Jesus' storehouse. It's not for the poor. That comes from your own funds, not the money you're required to pay to Jesus, to pay him back for his atonement for you. His free atonement you have to pay back. And you don't believe, you don't listen, you don't want this. Don't make me cry again. And you're gonna do it and you're gonna piss me off. Warned you. Don't do like falling skies. You're gonna piss me off. And you're heading for that. Nobody's gonna get Zion if you do that. It's all in vain. Pissing me off. I did my part because I did it myself. It was done right. But when relying upon others, they don't do it right. They botch it up. Right, Nelson? Yep. Okay. So do you see what's coming? When Trump now begins the implementation process of denaturalization Americans, and the states are required to do this. Cox is going to grant Trump's citizenship to Mormons. So Cox will still be the figurehead, and Utahns won't fully realize this, but he will be granting citizenship to illegal, undocumented, undesirable who are Mormon. Everybody else, he's got to let you go. So the church, again, those who are enslaved and bound to Jesus, yoked to Jesus, because you didn't have the time to just read to realize they are the enemy. Verily I say unto you, it shall come to pass that all those who gather unto the land of Zion shall be tithed of their surplus properties, and shall observe this law, or they shall not be found worthy to abide among you in Zion, deported. And I say unto you, if my people observe not this law to keep it holy, and by this law sanctify the land of Zion unto me, because money does that my statutes and my judgments may be kept thereon, that it may be most holy. Behold, verily I say unto you, it shall not be a land of Zion unto you. Get out. So Mormons are going to want to gather to Utah as the world descends into World War III. The Mormons will have to be enslaved and yoked to Jesus in order to come. And the church may do the perpetual immigration fund again to bring you to Zion to be a slave. And once you pay off the debt, they'll grant you Trump's gold card, because Trump is putting the power to the states. And so the deep state Dem states, Trump will war against. That's why he needs the money to fund the war. Over $1 trillion, huh? Okay, that's where it's at. So yeah, all of this is to trigger people to fight, to get riled up so that he can come in and crush you and justify it, calling you the illegals, calling you the terrorists. Turn America into Nazi Germany, to require Trump's gold card citizenship so that we can root out the enemy within. And each state will be responsible for that implementation. And if you're a deep state Dem state, as the Church of Utah is, they are supposed to be crushed by Trump. And yet. And so this is where I'm wondering how Joseph Smith is going to be fulfilled on this, because he says Utah is going to be destroyed by Trump for betraying Trump as the enemy. So this is a very fine line that Utah is running, that church is running, having Cox be the head of, because they want citizenship for the undesirables of Trump, because they're Mormon. They're paying tithing to the church. They're a slave to the church. They're even in the apostleship. Church doesn't want to deport them. Not Uchtdorf, Suarez, and Karen. They need gold card membership. So, but like I said, there is a coming civil war. And it's unclear. Maybe America is too apathetic and will just roll over and submit. And they'll just be complaining the whole time. So that Trump begins the gold card citizenship, denaturalizing everybody, requiring everybody to get the new gold card citizenship.